Hello everyone, welcome back to Hank's Movie Ranks. Been a while since I've done a full-length video here, but for this one, gonna be a little different. Friends. Everyone's got them, right? Or at least I hope you do. Um, and, I mean, what are friends for other than having things to share your interests with or have differences with? And that's why, for today's video, I'm gonna be taking my group of best friends from high school. Got the fellows right here. Squad. I asked all of them in our group chat to give me their 3 favorite movies. And they all provided those. I went through and ranked them, watched the ones I hadn't yet, and now I have a list of 14. There are 2 of my friends had one of the same movies in their top 3, so there's 14 instead of 15. But yeah, that's going to be the ranking for today. First off, obviously, we're going to have to tell you what all the movies are because it's not a set list like one of the best picture lineups. So let's just jump right into that. So jumping into the movies that each of the guys picked to rank in this list, we'll start off with my buddy Carter. He decided to go with La La Land. He went with The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. And finally, the most recent movie out of anyone's picks on the list, K-Pop Demon Hunters. He was a big fan of that one, so he threw that one up into his top 3. My buddy Carson, he had Parasite, Real Steel, and Interstellar. My friend Emmett went also with Interstellar. That's where we have the overlap, why it's only a list of 14. He also picked Inglourious Bastards, and he picked Everything Everywhere All at Once. My buddy Cooper, he's a big sports guy, so he's got Miracle, and he's got Moneyball. Well, I'm also a big sports guy as well. And then his third one was The Social Network. And finally, my buddy Adam, he, very similar to, for his first ones, he has Smokey and the Bandit and Convoy, kind of that similar road trip style. And then also his third pick was a classic from our friend group that we watched when we were in like middle school, the horror movie Hush. So yeah, so that's the list. Quite a big variety, obviously, with this grouping. And yeah, with that, I'll just jump right in to what I unfortunately am going to have to put from my friends' movies picks in last place at number 14. In at number 14, unfortunately in last place out of this group, I'm going to have Convoy. Convoy is one of the movies in the CB radio trucking era of movies from the 70s. Very, honestly, I'm also just going to throw up at the same time, number 13. I feel like these ones can definitely be talked about at the same time because at number 14, I have Convoy, and at number 13, I'm going to have Smokey and the Bandit. Both picks for my buddy Adam. Sorry, Adam. But with that being said, like I said, they're the CB radio trucker type movies. One thing I like to do is after I watch like a new movie, I'll go to the Wikipedia and just like read the plot synopsis just to make sure like I didn't miss anything super important when I was watching all the way through. I mean, usually I don't, but it's also nice to just kind of refresh and make it sit in more. And when I looked at the Wikipedia page for Convoy on this one, it literally had like listed Smokey and the Bandit as similar films right in the opening description. And it makes sense. They're very similar with this radio and trucking conversation style, which if that's your kind of vibe and you like these more road trip trucker movies where they're communicating on the radios, like you'll have a great time with these ones. That's just not really my vibe of a movie, so I just didn't like these ones as much. For my buddy Adam, I can totally see why, farming, always in the machines by himself, it kind of has a similar vibe to this. And but yeah, there's one spot where we differ is, I guess, in the movie taste a little bit. This one's not really my thing. I definitely like Smokey and the Bandit a decent bit more than Convoy. Convoy just really didn't click with me at all. Whereas at least Smokey and the Bandit, I thought had the Burt Reynolds character especially had some kind of fun lines and everything. And I thought that one just had some more fun and absurd moments as opposed to Convoy. But overall, just kind of not really the style of movie that I love. So unfortunately, sorry to my friend Adam. I got both of his similar picks here at 14 and 13. Moving on to number 12. I promise. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Adam. I don't hate your movies. but I have Hush, the third of Adam's picks. But although, with that being said, I think Hush is a perfectly fine movie. The way I would describe it is this movie is an important one to our friend group because we watched it as like a horror movie when we were in middle school. It was just a fun time. It's a funny one to look back on. And the way I describe it is, it really is the perfect like middle school sleepover movie, where it's a horror movie, so you get a little bit of the tense elements, but it's also not like too scary. Where for some middle school kids, they're going to be scarred for life after watching this one. I think it's perfectly kind of toes the line between the two. And I mean, it's a fun story. It's an interesting concept where the one being hunted is a deaf woman and can't really hear, and how she has to fight back with all that. And it's also only like an 80-minute movie, so it's nice and quick and concise. And I think it's paced well because of that. So overall, I don't think this is a bad movie by any means. So I think it's a perfectly fun one. But yeah, just compared to some of the other ones on this list, the guys picked a pretty solid selection of movies here. I have to have it a little bit lower, but although it'll have a special place in the friend group's heart for sure. Moving on to number 11, I have my buddy Carter's pick of The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Secret Life of Walter Mitty is a fun movie. I think it tells a really good story about like kind of believing in yourself and just going for goals and trying to achieve things and continuing to dream. So I think there's really good messaging like that. And knowing my buddy Carter, I totally get why this one vibes with him super well. And I like it a lot. I mean, as you can tell by the rating I have on it here. But overall, again, just a really strong group of movies these guys picked, so I have to have it a little bit lower. But yeah, overall, I think there's some really cool like cinematography, and this movie's really nice looking because of all the scenes and scenery he goes to. I think Ben Stiller is pretty good in this movie. And yeah, I think it overall, like I said, tells a really just kind of heartwarming story about life and wanting to pursue goals and pursue dreams and whatnot. So yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I mean, I don't know. There's obviously like deeper meanings, like I said, with the life and stuff, but I don't know. You kind of just have to watch it to understand all that. There's not really a whole lot more to talk about on it than really having some beautiful visuals and stuff, and then also telling a really kind of heartwarming story. So it's a good movie. Just have it a little bit lower on this list of a lot of great movies. Moving on to our top 10, I'm going to have the first of my friend Cooper's sports movie picks with Miracle. I think Miracle is a great one. When I was a little kid, you probably could ask me which movie was my favorite when hockey was my favorite sport, and I probably would have said Miracle. It still holds up great. Kurt Russell as Herb Brooks is great here. It just tells, obviously, an inherently inspiring story as it's based off real life and the U.S. beating the Soviets in 1980 in the Olympic Games. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun time. It's a really fun time. There's a lot of good performances, very quotable lines, whether it's again, or the Michael Ruzioni telling who he plays for in the United States of America. I mean, it's just a lot of really fun, quotable moments. So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing to complain about with this movie. Again, just really strong group. So someone's got to be at number 10. You know what I mean? But yeah, really fun time. I might have to watch this one again recently. This is one of the ones I didn't rewatch for this list just because I, have seen it enough times in my life. But I feel like I might need to give this one a rewatch sometime soon. It's a really great one. And yeah, just moving on to some other ones that I still enjoy a little bit more. Moving on to number 9, we have Real Steel. God, I hate that I have to put this one at number 9. I mean, obviously, I know I don't have to, but there's just some amazing movies in this. And despite the fact that I love this one so much, I rewatched it for this because it's such a fun time. This is one of those movies I wish would have gotten a sequel, even though it's probably way past that point of ever happening now. But I mean, it's a world where boxing is taken over by robot boxing and is the most popular sport in the world. I mean, come on, that's awesome. That's sick. Noisy Boy looks sweet. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just a really fun time. It's a really stupid movie, if I'm being honest, like, obviously, but it's just so much fun. Um, but just in a list of really awesome movies here, I think the one that has to maybe get knocked down a little bit is the one that just has, I was watching it back, some incredibly corny dialogue. Um, but like, I wouldn't want this movie to be any other way with it. Like, that's what kind of has the charm of it, of how corny and stupid it is sometimes. But basically, just when there's movies on this list that are higher up that are like best picture winner contenders and like are going for that, where this one's just going for, being a robot boxing movie. When the ones that are going for that best picture thing and completely hit it, they're just going to be some of the greatest movies ever. So that's the only reason this one's lower, although I still love this movie. Recommend it to anybody ever. I mean, it's just a fun, stupid time to turn your brain off and have a great time with the movie. Moving on to number 8. Oh, by the way, Real Steel was my friend Carson's pick. Number 8, K-pop Demon Hunters, the newest movie on this list, picked by my buddy Carter. He didn't have it in his top 3 when I originally asked the question, and then a couple days afterwards, he had rewatched it again, and was like, you know what, throw it in there, and fair enough. I mean, this movie's a really great time. I have it, I think, in the top 3 of 2025 movies I've seen so far. I really enjoyed it as well. I mean, mostly, is there a movie with a better soundtrack? I don't know if there is. I mean, every song on here is a complete banger. When I was watching it through, I'm like, oh, that song's amazing. And then they'd have another song pop. I'm like, oh, okay, that one's even better. Like, that's the whole movie. And then also tells a really good story. It's not just the songs, obviously, although that's the best part of the movie. It tells an inspiring story of these characters and kind of overcoming difficulties and whatnot. It's just a great animated movie. I hope this one wins animated feature this upcoming year at the Oscars. This is the only movie on this list where I can talk about its future award prospects. And I hope it wins because I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen a whole lot of other anime movies of the year, but it's by far my favorite one as of right now. And yeah, music's amazing. It just tells a good, lighthearted, fun story. I don't know, it's kind of taken over the world over the last month when it came out. So it's Netflix's most watched movie of all time, which is awesome. So this movie's great, and yeah, that's why I have it up here. Moving on to 7, I have the only movie that was picked by 2 of my friends, both my friends Carson and Emmett. I have Interstellar. Interstellar, I had seen before, but I hadn't rewatched it in such a long time. I had to rewatch before this video. And I mean, it still has all the magic of Interstellar whenever it first came out. I mean, this movie's awesome. It's one of Nolan's best, although I do think it might be a slightly overrated movie just because there's so many people who have it as like their favorite of all time or say it's by far Nolan's best. Whereas I'm more on the wavelength of like, it's great, obviously. It's a beautiful film. But I have it like 4th out of Christopher Nolan. I think I would go Oppenheimer, Inception, and The Dark Knight in front of it. But again, those are my negatives. Or not really even negatives, but just my tempering, the hype. But this movie is awesome. I mean, the visuals of it is some of the greatest ever in a movie. The score is, again, one of the greatest ever in a movie. And yeah, I mean, the only thing that, like, again, once I get up to here with all these movies, it's like you gotta nitpick just what little things are not negatives, but are slightly worse than the other ones, just to get a ranking. And for me, I feel like some of the emotional stuff in this one doesn't hit as hard as I remembered. Obviously, when he's, doing the thing of looking back at him leaving when he's in, like, the Tesseract or whatever, super emotional. When he sees his son growing up after they come off the planet where the time moves forward so much, very emotional. But other than that, I feel like some of the moments aren't as, strong as I remembered. But overall, this movie, again, is great. It's only down at 7 because, with all these great movies, you got to nitpick bits and pieces to get the ranking fully finished. So, but again, Interstellar, amazing. Christopher Nolan, one of his best. I have it here at 7. Moving on to number 6, I have Inglourious Bastards. Inglourious Bastards is a really, really great movie by Quentin Tarantino. Um, it's a really fun idea for a movie, and a lot of the pieces that he has come together super well in this. I don't know if I think it's probably my second favorite of his. I like Django a little bit more, I think, but definitely one of the greatest works he's ever put to screen. Brad Pitt is great in this. So is pretty much everyone in their given roles, with such a kind of big ensemble that's working together. And especially the main one of it all being Christoph Waltz as Hans Landa, the main villain here. I mean, he does a lot of work in this movie for it being as good as it is. The opening scene with him is one of the best opening scenes in any movie, really. And yeah, I think just it is really good at keeping you on your toes all the way through, having different twists and turns that are very interesting. And yeah, like I said, all the performances really great. The directing, obviously, from Tarantino is awesome. One of his best movies ever. And yeah, I don't know, there's not a whole lot of other stuff for me to say on this one, I guess, but it's just a really fun time, really interesting, great pieces all around on this one. So for me, it's at number 6. Number 5, I have Everything Everywhere All at Once, also picked by my buddy Emmett, as was Inglourious Bastards. I forgot to mention that. And this one I've already talked about in my most recent of the ranking Best Picture videos. That I had a number 1 from that year. It won that year, which I'm very happy with. I talked about kind of its original story and how creative it is. The only thing I feel like I didn't touch enough on the acting in the last video. Ke Huy Quan is amazing. Michelle Yeoh is amazing in this. They're both really great. Stephanie Hsu is also awesome. Jamie Lee Curtis is good in her role. She really didn't deserve to win Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars, of course. She wasn't even the Best Supporting Actress in her movie. Stephanie Hsu, I think, definitely could have won that award. But I'm not necessarily against giving more awards to this movie. This movie's awesome. All the actors are fantastic in it. And as I said in the last one, it's super original. Just very creative. And yeah, it's just an awesome movie. The best multiverse movie that there is. Sorry, any of Marvel or DC or any of them. It just is true. And yeah, so I've already talked about this one in the other video, of course, but this one's still one of my favorites. And for me, it's number 5 on this list. Moving on to number 4, I have The Social Network, picked by my friend Cooper. Of course, tells the story of Facebook and how it came to be, Mark Zuckerberg. And this one is, again, one of my favorites of all time. And it's at 4 here. That's just like, some of my buddies' favorite movies are some of my favorites. So this one, I think, has maybe the best screenplay ever. I love the Aaron Sorkin writing and dialogue that he has in his movies, where everything just is back and forth the whole time and without any action and just people having conversations. It just feels like you're so glued to the screen with everything that's going on. And then also, I want to point out, in my opinion, the best movie score of all time for The Social Network. Shout out Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross for that one. I mean, this score is unbelievable. And then also, the acting in it is great too. Andrew Garfield and Jesse Eisenberg as Eduardo Saverin, and of course, Zuckerberg are great. Everything about this movie really comes together well. I know some people have soured on it as time has gone on and say that it's, aged not a little more poorly. I disagree. I think this movie's amazing. It's one of the greatest of the 2010s. And yeah, even with that, it's still only at number 4 for me, so it shows you how strong of a list this is. So, as I mentioned, I love the Aaron Sorkin dialogue, and we'll see that again in the next one. And that next one, of course, is Moneyball. Moneyball, another script by Aaron Sorkin, another one that I love, again, where it has all that dialogue that just keeps you glued to the screen and locked in throughout the whole time. But this one also has the bonus of being a sports movie, and even though it's my least favorite of the 4 major sports in baseball, I don't care. I think it's probably my personal favorite sports movie of all time. I think this is Brad Pitt's best role of all time. And yeah, I mean, Moneyball is just fantastic. Everyone plays the role great, once again, especially Jonah Hill, even in that side role. Speak when I point at you. And yeah, I mean, again, the script, all the acting, and it gets the bonus that it's an awesome sports movie. So for me, Moneyball, one of the best movies of all time. I probably have it in for sure in my top 10, maybe in my top 5. So yeah, and with that, it's still number 3 here because there are 2 all-timers, even though I also think Moneyball is, but 2 true all-timers at 1 and 2 for me. At number 2, we have Parasite. Parasite is a Korean film directed by Bong Joon-ho, if you somehow haven't already heard of it. And a Best Picture winner, and thank God for that, because it is one of the best movies I've ever seen. And to see finally a non-English language movie win Best Picture was awesome. I mean, this one is just fantastic. The directing here from Bong Joon-ho is amazing. It's such a good story about kind of just society and class, and then also telling kind of like a mystery. It just blends so many different elements so well, and just has so many unbelievable scenes that have you glued to the screen the whole time. And yeah, I mean, again, an international film, and it's still, I think, one of the greatest films of all time. And as obviously somebody who is from the United States, it's a lot easier to connect with films in the English language. So this one being up so high, and then also seeing all the success it had worldwide and at the Oscars, just proves how unbelievable this film is. And yeah, the only reason I don't have it at number 1 is because one of my friend's personal favorites is my favorite movie of all time, and that's why that one's number 1. But this one is about as strong of a number 2 you could ever have. So really don't have any flaws in this movie, and that's why it's all the way up here at number 2. But finally, at number 1, as I mentioned, my friend Carter, one of his 3 favorite movies of all time, is my personal favorite movie of all time. So of course it was going to be number 1 this whole time. That is La La Land. Got the poster back there. Yeah, it's just my favorite movie. I love it so much. I love all the music in this movie. It looks amazing. Just everything with it looks fantastic, whether it's, just the camera work, the costumes, the production design, everything is so good. And then also Ryan Gosling, I think, is probably my favorite actor. And this is, I think, my favorite role of his. It's also my favorite role from Emma Stone. And those are 2 of the better actors that are working right now, in my opinion. They both absolutely kill it in this. Damien Chazelle directs this to his best, in my opinion, although Whiplash is also awesome. But anyway. But yeah, I mean, I just think this movie is so great, talking about following your dreams and just showing kind of how people go through their life, all told through this just beautiful looking movie and this amazing musical. I don't know, it's hard to put into words why I love this one so much. It's just every time I watch it, in the middle of it, I'll just find myself saying like, oh, this movie's so great, every couple of scenes. And yeah, I mean, I would watch this one over and over again. It's my personal favorite movie. So for those reasons, obviously, it was always going to be number 1 on this list as soon as it was listed from one of my buddies to put in here. So that, in my opinion, is ranking the 14 of my 5 best friends from high school's 3 favorite movies, ranking them out. If you wanted to look exactly at who had the best list, if we're going to go according to my ranks, in last place in terms of the combined totals of rankings on my buddy's list, it's going to be my friend Adam with a total number of 39. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Then it'll be my friend Carter, despite having the number 1 movie. His 2 other ones were just a little bit lower on the list, so he has a total of 20 ranking. Tied with a combined total of 18 for both of them are my friends Carson and Emmett. And according to this list, on the averages, best movie taste out of all of them is my buddy Cooper, who had the 3rd, 4th, and 10th ranked movies for a total of 17. But obviously, 1 point difference for between a lot of them. So very similar lists. I think they all have a very strong list of movies here. So for anyone who watched this, rank these in the comments. Feel free. If you enjoy lists like this, then consider subscribing. And as always, I will see everyone in the next video.